Try that again. Okay, so this is Berserker Bear. Title says Tartaria Open Forum Q&A. My aim with this is pretty much to anticipation for Owen's stream tomorrow about Tartaria. Super excited about that. I just wanted to go live and hopefully some people trickle in here. If not, no big deal. But what I want to do is just put a general cohesive narrative out there for anybody interested in what Tartaria is and what we think it is as far as Tartarian researchers and resets and mud floods. I'm just an absolute novice in this game. To be honest with you, I just started getting into it. I've been researching it for about a year now, maybe a year and a half, maybe ever since my daughter was born. She's 2 years old now, but I just started diving really deep down to it within the past few months, maybe more like 3, 4, 5 months. And it's just been so unbelievably synchronistic, number one, and interesting about the whole mud flood and reset. And hello, Gina Patriot. Okay. Thank you for stopping in. I'm just throwing out an idea to maybe get like a Tartarian like Q&A thing going. I know some people are really confused about it. I certainly was unbelievably confused when I heard about what Tartaria. I really first heard about it from Matt at Quantum of Conscience. So what this is effectively, hopefully some more people will come in and who are curious about what the Tartarian mud flood reset is. And my aim is to maybe answer some questions some people might have and actually help myself to form a good cohesive narrative. I put a video out recently about it, my last recorded video about, kind of trying to connect a lot of dots as far as all the different rabbit holes that the mud flood Tartaria seems to encompass. It seems to be one of the most fundamental rabbit holes, I guess we can look into as far as the truth community. It does seem to encompass all others, pun intended for sure. Ice Ring. I'm curious, Gina. I thank you for stopping in. I'm not sure if you're still here or not, but did you have any questions about what Tartaria is, or are you familiar with it? The reset. I mean, I would just say start firing out. I'm going to need some ideas. I really don't have any kind of anything written down, though I could probably riff a little bit, obviously, about what we think Tartaria is and the Phoenicians and what Martin was just talking about. It was a great video that Martin Liedtke just did about Tartaria and Phoenician architecture. And actually went in, I forget the name of the artist that did the labyrinth stairways. Martin was saying that that's actually depicted in the underworld. That's encompassed in this. The underworld will be encompassed in this whole rabbit hole as well. And I forget, begins with a P. The artist that depicted that, like the never-ending staircase, I believe, or all the upside-down staircases. He was also doing art about underground caverns. Then you think of like dwarves and stuff like that, as all this stuff that's mythology, told to us a myth and supposed to be myth, like you were saying, actually really happened. Actually really do think that at this point in time. I believe that. I've said that for a long time now, that I think that mythology, what we're told as mythology, is real. I think all the demigods that were taught in mythology, going back to Greek mythology, Egypt, I won't go there. Actually, there's really no demigods in Egypt to think about it. I have not researched that entirely, but Egypt, we think of in the truth community, could be a construct, a constructed narrative that it was faked. Unbelievable to say. I love Egypt. This is still a theory and process. We're working through this all in real time, as Owen likes to say. So I can't be held to account for the fact that I still love Egypt and the pyramids. I love to go there. One of the things that brought me into this rabbit hole was trying to figure out why all the ancient myths reference the flood. From Utnapishtim to Gilgamesh. Utnapishtim would be the Hindu. Gilgamesh in ancient Syria to Noah. It's kind of really, and then I got into Robert Schoch. I have all their books right here, actually. I'd like to show them to you guys. Burning Tree Bear Clips, what's up? Good to see you, my brother. Trying to ladle some gravy here. I have also Egypt, yeah. Could be a construct, but like as far as the myths go, and I think that all the myths were real. It's the upside down flip on everything. What's bad is good, and all that whole Promethean type fingerprint. I think mythology was real. I think I think that can still exist, in my opinion. I was born and raised Catholic. I operate more under Christianity now. My family, I pray with my family wherever I go. I still have my Catholic roots. I still say Catholic prayers and everything. So I'm saying this because I think that all the mythology can still exist as real underneath God and the firmament, and not be blasphemed. I have a train of thought and a thread that I think that maybe, in my opinion, maybe God tried sending us demigods as to try to make example and show logos, but the whole like superhero thing and covetous, that doesn't work. He had to eventually send a human, and I'm just saying maybe. I'm not a Bible scholar by any means. I have not read the whole entire thing yet, and I'm ashamed to say that. If I say that I'm a Christian, but I am reading it and verses and stuff like that from my family. That said, I still don't think I'm not kind of any authority, I guess I'm trying to say, on Christianity. Of course not. These are just my opinions, but I still think that you can have the mythology as real. I say, Roger at Mud Fossil and the work that he's doing, regardless of his space beliefs, God bless him for that. Maybe he'll eventually come into the fold, but his work on mud fossils and the Titans, I mean, it just looks like, and it says it in the Bible, that the rocks will cry out truth. Mud fossil and Tyson's mud fossil research, you cannot argue what Tyson is getting out there and like boots on the ground, like I like to say. Okay, we got any question? Tyson at Mud Fossil is going out there and getting in the field and actually looking at this geology that geologists would say is geology. I beg to differ as far as what Tyson's showing us and what Roger is confirming, and who has done DNA evidence proving that it's DNA, human DNA, or it's very similar to. It can't be discerned by the labs he's sending them to. At least you got to use your own discernment. I don't think Roger is lying in the research that he does. Roger at Mud Fossil University, and obviously Tyson's Mud Fossil Adventures. The dude gets out there and walks on the stuff, and it looks like it. I'm a student of history, science, History Channel. I know all the geology stuff. I love astronomy, all that. I could talk with you for days about that stuff. What they have told us is geology might very well be gigantic biology. There's an argument for both. And I think the argument is stronger for gigantic biology. Another good channel for that is obviously Stelium 7 and his depiction of Mont Go in southern Spain, I believe, near Gibraltar. It's called Mont Go. And I think his assessment is correct, in my opinion, saying that mountain is a gigantic mastodon, either petrified over thousands of years or instantly petrified. And there's some truth drops in movies. I mean, Lord of the Rings, the Oliphants. I think Tolkien probably knew something that we didn't. Right, exactly. Burning Tree Bear Clips. And the evidence seems to think, unless they have the capability of deep faking the videos they're putting up, they're just doing what we're doing, just throwing videos up, pressing record and doing what I could do. So then you got to use your best judgment and discernment as to whether you think that they're BSing you. And I believe them. I don't agree with him as far as space goes. Roger still believes in space. He said, there's an interesting thread actually that Roger's doing, though. This is worth a point here. He's saying that they're finding bodies in space. Now let me just lay this first down. I have a video about this before. I don't know if you can see them. I have astronomy books up the yin yang, quite a few of them. Grew up in astronomy. My father took me to a planetarium back in the day. That coupled with the cosmos back in the day, Carl Sagan, 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 Sagan. He's an idol in astronomy. Words have meaning or sound like they have meaning. Anyway, I did a video about it, about how cosmology hasn't produced any answers since the 1970s, since Cosmos. All they've done is spin narratives and just create more confusion, even after they found the Higgs. Anyway, so I love astronomy, and I would debate Neil deGrasse Tyson, Snake and deGrasse Tyson about the stuff, seeing the stuff that I see online with a lot of the flat Earth researchers. Taboo Conspiracy 2 is phenomenal. With that, he's got videos that just destroy it. Flat Earth Observer, the foul mouthed Brit, I love him. So I take all this stuff in when I'm incorporating my ideas for like that mythology, getting back to the mythology thing. Roger at Mud Fossil, what I just cited at the Flat Earth guys. I love how Vox Day refers to them as Prometheans. I think the current usurpers that Martin Liedtke refers to as the Phoenicians, who refacaded everything with their Roman cement, that Conspiracy R Us just did a very good in-depth on. The Phoenicians are the Prometheans. They have the same exact tactics, the duality, the spinning of narratives, whatever you want to call it. Seems to me that the characterization that Vox puts on I'll even call it the cabal, if you want to incorporate a little bit of the Q narrative. I'm not a Q-tarded bear. I play the wall with a large grain of salt in that theater. Let me just say that. It could just be the signal. I am all down for the patriotic thing. At a certain time, though, you gotta apply that discernment, though. So I'm playing the wall in the Q verse right now. So, but it's all incorporated, and that's why the mud flood, the reset, the Tartarian rabbit hole that we would label it as in the truth community is the most fundamental. I will say that, and I've said that before. I'll say it again. It's the most fundamental rabbit hole that you can go down. That's why it attracts me, because I'm kind of a fundamentals type of dude. It's just, 'tis me nature, Oh, I got this ring too recently in the mail. You can see what that is, right? A Berserker bear. True story. Got it from gthic.com. I'll give them a plug. Pretty cool. The delivery was a little bit long, but it had nothing to do with them, just because of the revenue. But so yeah, I think mythology was real, and that can still, I think, apply under God. So. Yeah, mythology real. Tartaria. Current usurpers being the Prometheans that we think of them now as the modern controllers, who seemingly could be responsible for everything that we're seeing right now. Trying to flip the system. Could be that we're in the middle of a soft reset that I've called it before. All the lunacy going on right now. Really not going to get into it too much. I'd rather stick to topic. But because this topic brushes up against that and probably could be a main reason. Like I said in the previous video that I think Martin's assessment, or when he did the Ovid's Prometheus, Ovid's Prometheus poem, and the visuals that he was putting up on the screen about that, I think that's probably a depiction of the Promethean takeover. They're obviously going to record their history some way or another, whether they keep it deep in their deep underground military bases. That's actually good thread to get into right now, is the Petalwood connection with what's going on right now. My brother-in-law just sent me the documentary that's on the tube about HANKS #2, part 2. Deep underground military bases. Let me just say this too. My wife and I still, this might help people too. My wife and I still watch movies. I'm a big time movie buff. My father and I love watch movies. My brother as well. Big time movie buffs, and it's kind of hard to. My wife will watch movies all day, but knowing what we know, and it's like who's who and stuff like that, like I don't want to watch that stuff no more. Let me tell you, I've kind of gotten over that hump, and how I reconcile that with myself is, I don't know any of these thespians. I don't know any of these actors. Never met them. When I watch the movie, the willing suspension of disbelief is always applied. If you're a good cinema buff, you're always going to have that willing suspension of disbelief. You're going to think you're in Avatar, whatever. You're going to buy into the movie. Apply that to still watching movies that you like. If you have reservations, I completely understand if you have reservations in this day and age. Knowing what we know now, to not want to watch any kind of thing in Pedowood, and I understand. If you don't want to support it monetarily, I can understand that argument. In what I wanted to explain is I still watch them. We have movie night. My wife and I, we love watching movies. If I applied my true beliefs, and I'd be like, I don't want to watch these movies. These are all pedos, pederasts, and my wife and I want to have movie night. So taking in to mushroom on the willing suspension of disbelief. You cinema buffs will know exactly what I'm talking about, and people who are in show business or whatever. Not that anybody's going to watch it like that. That's not what I'm saying. People who know what willing suspension of disbelief is. So yeah, we have movie night with my wife, and what I say to myself is, I don't know these actors, never met them. I fell in love with the stories and the characters that they portrayed, not that they played, not the characters or not the thespians that are portraying them. That's a good spin on it. Kind of gets me in the right frame of mind to be okay to watch it. So I don't, with understanding what they may be alleged to be committed in. How could you watch their material, right? I mean, the Prometheans are very good at the theater, very talented. Owen said that before. He says the devil is funny. Sympathy for the devil. I mean, that's kind of tough for me, but with that in mind, you could see what I'm trying to say. Then I don't think that's blasphemous whatsoever. Anyway, yeah, the Prometheans are very, very theatrical, and they like to show their craft in the theater. Hence why the news was all crazy, but that we seem to see a lot of truth drops in movies and in art. It's one of their fingerprints, showing it in plain sight. It's not even hiding in plain sight. We've established that. Owen hammers that home, big time. So, any questions here? Thanks for the information. I might need to go back. Oh, thank you for stopping in, Gina. No problem. Pleasure. Oh, cool. With Kander, are you talking about the welcome, Kander? Thanks for stopping in, man. Are you talking about the HANKS? The new I don't watch it yet. This is what this. I mean, you guys got quite. I know there might not be a lot of people in here right now. If you're in here watching, please feel free to ask some questions about Tartaria. I'm going to need some feedback here. I don't have any kind of anything written down. I'm kind of firing from the hip as it goes. Kander, were you talking about the? Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, movies in general. Absolutely. So that's my take on that as far as movies. Like, I fell in love with the stories and the characters. I can give fuck all about the actors portraying them. If it's a good movie, I'll watch it. Whatever, without any thinking twice about it. I know what they are, and not of. They're not going to hold me back from doing something that I like, type of deal. I'm over that. That's how I look at it. I understand if you don't want to support it, the whole monetary thing. You don't want to. I get that. 100% get that. For sure. How do these canals and railroads? There we go. Okay. Great question, Burning Tree Bear Clips. I think, in my opinion, okay, perfect. I'll cite an autodidactic video about Africa where it's all canaled out. It's like Africa, like it almost looks like Star Fort Tartaria from an old map, old maps, and they were all canal systems. So what I think is all the railway systems that we see in our old cities and some of the cities on the eastern seaboard that had the massive railway web. That, in my opinion, that was all strip canals, all of it. And I think, man, the Industrial Revolution, 1800s, is when they laid the railway, and the Ground Reclamation Act in America, I think, was the last covering up of the realm of the last controllers, which was, I think, the benevolent. And this is, I mean, the last reset. I don't know. Martin says it was pre-1600s. So then they added 1,000 years. So like, what we're saying, what I think is, all the old railway systems were straight up canals all the way inland. They look like they're canals, like I showed in my other video coming off Niagara River by Squaw Island. Excuse me, it's not Squaw Island anymore. It's Unity Island. Squaw is a derogatory term. But there's a lot of Native American things labeled here in Buffalo. Tonawanda, Niagara. That's all like native stuff. Interesting juice on that from John Levy. But canal systems, so here we go. To answer your question, Burning Tree Bear Clips, how do the canal systems, how do the train systems in and out of everything relate to Tartaria? I think Tartaria had this whole realm canaled out, right? They were seafaring. Were they the sea peoples? Were the Prometheans the sea peoples? Who knows? Were the Tartarians the benevolent Hyperboreans from the north? And as Martin Leakey pointed out today, were the Phoenicians from the outer worlds? Like, there might be in the north, they say that Hollow Earth theory, the Hyperborean giants might be in the north, and we might be able to call them out with the somatic patterns. That's another tangent rabbit hole right there. The somatics that are in these churches got to signal something. Anyway, yeah, so canals. I think that all the railways that we see were straight up canals. And I think that after the reset or whatever, after the mud flood came in or whatever, they found them, they knew where the ley line, I think that they're ancient ley lines, and they either lead to water or they were all water, and they were all canals. And I think after the usurping and the changing of power and the creating of his story, they actually backfilled those canals, drained them, and put railway systems on them, because you can easily, obviously, some of them are defunct and no longer railways. There's a lot of them around Buffalo, and along the railways are quarries. Now you say, oh well, obviously they're going to quarry and have a railway system there to take the precious minerals out, obviously, but it's a good layer cover. I think that they actually used the quarries to backfill, because they're all raised up too. That's why you call it the highway. A lot of the rail systems in and around Buffalo are raised from the surrounding territory. It's really, literally, I think, where you get the highway from. It's high. It's a highway. It's higher than the surrounding area. I'm not sure if any of you guys have that in your cities, but I think all the railway systems were canals. And to look up some good gravy on that is an autodidactic video about Africa. Like, literally in the first 2 minutes, he gets into old maps and talking about how Africa was all star forted out, back previous reset, and all canaled out. And it's easy to hide that stuff. It's like, I think rail yards, like Delaware Park in Buffalo, may have been just a pond. I think rail yards where they have a whole bunch of rails laid out where they store the carts, I think those were ponds. I detailed that in a couple videos, I think, before. That's that. Star forts also have water nearby. All star forts. Yes, Candor. Yes. It seems all star. Okay, here you go. There's a star fort near Buffalo, and actually, well, It's a little bit more close to Niagara Falls, but it's at Niagara Falls. It's called my God, Old Fort Niagara. Jeez, at the very base of the Niagara River is a star fort right on the water. Yeah, and my lead key and autodidactic, and yeah, they all. It seems that they were pulling water in and then sending water out. And man, the recent video that Martin just laid out, as far as that artist, I forget his name. If you guys know his name, throw it in the chat. Hey everybody, Bear. Thanks for X-Ray Bear. Good to see you. All right, cool, man. Thanks for showing up, guys. Smurth. Martin just did a phenomenal video today about layouts of cities being like circuit boards. And like in the old videos that we see, they all seem a little bit weird. Not like they're deep faked, but like almost like they're staged. And then he like posited, because they're like laid out like circuit boards, like were they actually like virtual reality, these things? Like mind-blowing. Earth machines, and then he got into airships too. Airships that were in early 1800s with planes under them, that just phenomenal. He's got pictures. He gets into the real thick old school pictures. Martin does, and he goes for a while. His videos are really good. I fortunately had time to watch them. No parking, Bear. All right, guys, what's up? Good to see you. Good to see all you. Yeah, so if you guys have questions, that's what this kind of is. I'm super pumped about Owen having on that. I never heard that dude, man. I'm so curious to. I forget his name, what Owen was saying his name was, but I'm really super interested in seeing the kind of juice and gravy he's got on the Tartaria. Always need some more researchers. And I think it's really cool. I think more people are getting involved with this. There's a fly in here. I'm sorry. Involved with this Tartarian research. So again, yeah, if you guys have questions about, I was kind of doing this in anticipation for that stream tomorrow, because I know a lot of people have questions about what Tartaria is and what's the mud flood and what's going on with that stuff. And it kind of does encompass all other rabbit holes. So it is one of the most fundamental rabbit holes, I think, that's out there for us truthers and bears. If you have questions, please throw them in the chat. Christopher Gardner. Okay, yeah, that was his name. There you go. Boom. Listens to Martin. And so he knows what's going on. He knows what's up for sure. Yes, for sure. Does he have a YouTube channel? I watch a whole bunch of YouTube channels, man. Sometimes I feel bad because it's all I share a lot of YouTube channels. People are probably like, "Yo, what's all you do is watch YouTube, man?" Mostly I'm hanging out with the family, but anytime I get away, I'm blessed to be able to work from home. Right now, what's going on? Everything. God bless. But I'm with the family most of the time. You guys see pictures and stuff, but this is my hobby. So, and keeping up with what's going on with Tartaria. So, yeah, the Prometheans, I think, are the Vox calls them the Prometheans, and Martin calls them the Phoenicians. I think they're just one and the same. Straight up current, you can call it the Cabal, NWO. Interesting times. Really? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I wonder if it's about that, because I'm always trying to find new. Wood and Nichols is a good one too. Anybody have other Mudflood Tartaria channels to watch? You guys can email me anything. I think my email address is in the about of my channel. Guys, please feel free to email me anything that you find, any and everything that you find. I would recommend archive.org. One of you bears put me onto that, I think. Super awesome. I just don't know how to I don't know how to rotate the picture. Anybody know how to do that? There's every other application you can use to, zoom in and stuff. I don't know how to rotate it. Anyway, that one's cool. Stolenhistory.org is a good one. All you bears, share that with me. UAP is really good. He put a great one out. Oh, here we go. That'll get me on a thread. He did one today that I just watched before Martin. I have the ability to watch while I'm working too. So I work on the internet. I do commercial collections, like business to business collections. I'm calling people all day, calling businesses across the country all day on a side tangent, and kind of get a good, my fingertips on the groove of, as far as commerce goes, and people are still paying bills and everything, and they're kind of upbeat, on that level. Anyway, UAP broke down. Everything's about. It seems like the Prometheans love showing. This is a good segue. It seems like the Prometheans love showing their craft everywhere. It was UAP just broke down Dr. Strangelove in one of the scenes. It seems like they were just talking about resets in the orphan trains, and I threw a comment up on one of Martin's channels about Peter Gabriel's Games Without Frontiers. He can tell me Peter Gabriel in Wikipedia or Infogalactic, his definition of the explanation of that song, Games Without Frontiers. I don't buy it. They lay their code down in their art. I'm 95% better than that. That song by Peter Gabriel, Games Without Frontiers, is about resets. Martin said that the Queen song Under Pressure is about it too. I don't doubt it. It's almost like you can literally, ever since came into the not space realm, it's almost like you could see things more clearly. It's almost like you could point out the Promethean craft like right away now, For another example, off the top of my head, a song that I love from the 80s. I love cheesy 80s music. Don't judge me. But it helps to lend some credence on, maybe how to identify. It's good to know your enemy. But listening to the other day to the Police, or maybe it's Sting or whatever, King of Pain. Okay, and I go and read what they say that they got the idea for the song for on Infogalactic. And he said that he broke up with his chick and his girl, and he looked at the sun. He was feeling down, looked at the sun, and seen black spots on the sun one day. Number one, you can't do that unless you have one of those little projection things. Number two, if you listen to the song, he just labels and goes over and labels all horribly terrible stuff that can happen to beautiful animals. The entire song. I know what that is. That's a Promethean ballad. And he's King of Pain is. We know what the King of Pain is. It's a ballad to that. It's like, Promethean. You point him out. It's weird. Matt likes to say 10th level Jedi from QFC. I like that. It's like you have a gift of sight, obviously with the Lord. So cool. No, illiterate bear. Starship, nothing's gonna stop us now is my shit, man. That's definitely on the playlist. 100%. That's great. For sure. That's definitely on the playlist. 100%. That's great. So yeah, they show their craft. It's part of their credo, that sigil stuff, that alias their stuff. I don't get too much into the occult, but you can see it. You can point it out. In my opinion, I think it's pretty apparent. But then other people that don't see it, they're just like, oh yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's so coincidental. I just think it's them showing their hand, saying, and that's okay. That's the mock too. That's their mock to us, is that it's not hiding in plain sight. I put an Instagram post up recently about Gavin's top rocker picture on his Twitter account. Appalachia Bear can verify me on this. Before I got kicked off of the Twatter for calling Neil deGrasse Tyson a retard. Listen, 100%. Gavin had pedo sign on his top rocker picture. Meet the top picture on his Twatter. And knowing me, I'm swinging for the firmament all the time. I'll go hard. I snapshotted it, searched the FBI PAEDO I don't want to say it too much, PAEDO, for fear of the algorithms. Pictures, right? And I put a series of things with Gavin, and I tagged the FBI, NSA, Trump, just cause, just cause. On my word, the next week it was changed it. They show it. It was a symbol. It was a symbol of somebody's finger. Maybe some of you bears seen it, but I did put it on the Instagram. It's in my timeline. Why would a governor do that? Because that's what he is. You show that to somebody who's not of the truth community, they would, like Matt says, they would get a download from the Aether or from the Not Nilk and justify it. And you would show it to them, and you'd have somebody verify it, like Appalachia Bear verified it. My Instagram said 100% it was there. They show it. And that's it. That's the mock. They say, we're showing this to you. If you don't see it and you buy into it, your fault. And you deserve it because it's showed to you. You don't see it, we deserve to call you goyim or, wag the dog and herd you. We're showing it to you. If you don't see it, it's on you. For us in the truth community, we use discernment and we see it and we know it. But we walk a lonely path. That's for sure. But more people are starting to wake up to it. Watery, welcome. Revelation of the Method, Lesser Magic. Who sings Into the Badlands? I'm not sure. That title doesn't ring a bell to me, but maybe if I heard it, I would know it. Oh, it's a TV show. Okay. It's hard to get it. Maybe I should start reading from the top down. Gravy with Family. Oh, cool. No Despair Bear. Yeah, listen to that song. It's a good song. Actually, it's a weird synchronicity. I mean, there's so many layered synchronicities in this rabbit hole that are just happening right now. All the bears talk about it too. Owen, there's so much synchronicity going on right now. It's hard for empaths, and it's hard to ignore it. And people, in your circles and sphere of influence will just brush it off as coincidence. But you get that feeling in the back of your neck that this is like too layered. You get the retro, I call them retroactive synchronicities, kind of sort of with that song. It's real significant to me because I remember my buddy, one of my best friends, I still one of my best friends. I remember specifically putting our crew. I got a real close group of buddies that I grew up with actually as kids that I'm very lucky to have. Some people don't even have a best friend. I literally have 4 or 5 of them. One of them's my brother. One of them passed away when we were younger in 2001, actually. Go figure. It's one of the worst years of my life because 2001 and that. But okay, it was, he had leukemia. His name is Russell. And his brother he had a brother too, and he's still a part of our group. But, the soul of Russell is kind of, I think, what still kept us all together. But we all grew up in this neighborhood also and played every single day outside together, threw snowballs at cars, you name it, whatever, climb garages, hide and seek, all that. So I'm not sure where I was going with that, but Starship, I was reading answering a question. Yeah. Promethean's part of the mock. Where was I going with that? Does anybody remember? I think it was from a question. Oh, yeah, the synchronicity of that song. One of my buddies, Games Without Frontiers, it's significant because he put us onto it back in the day and was real pumped to show us about it. We had to make fun of him because his dad was real into it, and he found a bunch of his dad's albums. And it was one of his dad's favorite songs. And he's like, yo, gotta hear the song. So that's like layered synchronicity. I call it retroactive synchronicities that kind of happen across time. I'm not sure if you guys I'm sure you guys come across that for sure. You got to. it kind of solidifies a hunch that you might have or something like that. If you're thinking about something and a synchronicity comes across it, my gut feeling is I believe that hunch. Then I believe it's like or some kind of question that you're asking or whatever. If a synchronicity comes along with it, boom, that's your gut telling you that it is it is your hunch. Go with your gut. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Thanks for stopping in, Watery. Have a good one. So I wasn't going to go too long with this. I'm super pumped about Big Bear having that dude on tomorrow. Anybody got any more questions? I'm probably going to sign out soon. Tartaria, previous reset. Look up Ovid's Metamorphosis. I think that's a depiction of the Promethean takeover. They're taking out pineal glands and hunting people on horseback. Giants and Giants is a good thread now. Hyperborea seem to have been benevolent giants. Almost saying that the Giants have a stigma about being bad. I think that's the flip. I think that's one part of the flip. I think they weren't bad. Martin Luther King says that Noah was a giant and he was the only good one. I think there were many good ones. Many. And that threat that I think Owen nails it when he says the national park system. That's a good thread to talk about. The national park system being a treaty with giants. That can be incorporated in the Tartarian mudflood rabbit hole also, because we're talking Metamorphosis. We're talking there were giants. Look up Madonna in the Church. It's a very famous painting on Infogalactic. Madonna or Mary's a giant. You can't, and there's no explanation for her scale. And you might say, "Oh, it's to show her grandeur." It's metaphorical. Well, no, the actual painting is realistic, and there's people in the background where the cathedral looks normal scale to. She looks like she's enclosed in that little like foyer. They're like too big for it. It's like they're showing us, but there's no explanation, at least as far as I can see on Infogalactic, where it explains why her scale is so big. I'm not sure. I think Roosevelt was the first one to create national parks, or the first. Yes, it was. I think Teddy Roosevelt. I think you're right there. Notice Bear created the National Parks Act. So that could be some gravy right there. Obviously, they probably knew about it. There you go, 1916. Illuminati confirmed. That's interesting. Isn't that the same? Or no? The date that the Fed was created, is that 1916 or was that 1913? I know the Fed was created the year after Titanic sank. Titanic might have sank in 1912. The Fed might have been created in 1913. I think it was either 1913 or 1916. But okay, so yeah, the National Parks Act was 1916. They were finding giants all over. Yeah, instead of storm Area 51, let's storm the Smithsonian. My word. I seen the Bear tweet that one time when that whole storm Area 51 thing was going on. F storm Area 51, let's go to the Smithsonian. There's probably some unbelievable gravy in those calls. You gotta be kidding me. There you go. Okay. There's a YouTube channel that has some real, like a bunch of, like a hodgepodge of a whole bunch of different channels. It's called Christos Agopian, Christos Agopiain. I tried looking for it again. They may have deleted it. There was a video back before all the crazy censorship was going down, where this lady was videotaping this tall ass dude walking down the side of a mountain, like huge dude. Now, of course, you have to apply your discernment, but I mean, I thought it was real. And then I don't know if it was wiped or not, but he has he's got a lot of cool videos, that channel, Christos Agopian. It doesn't look like he makes videos himself, which is no big deal. He just has a whole bunch of cool playlists, and also he actually has them on his page. And I think it was in that playlist that I found he referenced some other lady's video where she was so yeah, the mountains and giants, I think that there's something to do with that, especially my daughter loves Disney. It is what I apply the same thing that I explained about pedo would. It's willing suspension of disbelief. Also, you do got to call him Devil Mouse every so often. Obviously not to her, but there's unbelievable truth drops in Disney. In the most recent Frozen, the giants come alive and they're titans. It's like, and also truth are a water holding memory. They're legendary for their truth drops and their pedophilia. It's another story though. Okay, so yeah, we got Big Bear's stream tomorrow with this dude. Gravy will be most flowage for sure. Thanks for stopping in, everybody. I haven't went live in a while. I plan to do some more. Maybe I'll plug my channel some more. I'm gonna do some more bushwhacking Tartaria with Berserker Bear, where I can get onto the tracks. There's so many tracks over here, Burning Tree Bear clips, and old buildings that I have to get out there and video log them all, just like I've been doing. Not so much like on a Google Earth, or Google Plane, I should say. In my other videos, I like to get out there, like I did with that tower, and get right on top of it. There's so many railroad tracks around here. I have so much fodder to use. I have to. So with that, unless you guys have any more questions, I'm gonna sign off and probably have to go put Baby Bear to bed. Really appreciate all you guys coming. I appreciate the support. If you don't mind, obviously hitting the thumbs up, Rogan's up, and sharing it if you can. It really does help out. And God bless you all. Berserker Bear will report back. Take care. Gravy flows tomorrow. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.